Hey, it's Josephine from the Pointe shop. I'm in Los Angeles, California, and I'm with my Ashley. She's like basically my daughter. Like
I love you.
I love you too. No kidding. Somebody asked me the other day if Ashley Lew was my daughter, and I was like, I was this close to saying yes. I was like, kinda. I'm like her Pointe mom.
Yeah, she is.
So today we're going to do a video on sinking in pointe shoes. So this has never happened to Ashley before, but she actually lost a toenail because she was sinking. So this is a very common problem in the pointe shoe world. A lot of people sink in their pointe shoes and they kind of lose their toenails, or it could be very painful. So we're going to be talking about that today. So can you stand up for me? The shoe can look very, very pretty, but inside your shoe you might be sliding down. So step up onto Pointe for me. So as you can see, these are really, really, really pretty. So from the outside, it looks perfectly fine. But what happens is that when she's on Pointe for a very long time, she starts to slide down, and then she starts to feel a lot of pressure in the bottom of the shoe. So that can be very painful after a couple hours of dancing, and that is resulting into a bruised toenail. So these are very pretty. Ashley, how long did you have these for?
Like a month.
Okay, about a month, so they're about dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are dying. Well, these shoes die pretty fast too. But yes, so she's sinking in her shoes. One foot sinks more than the other, usually because you have two different size feet. So you'll notice that you feel it a little bit more on one side more than the other. So there's a couple different ways that you can fix this problem. Go ahead and come down for me. The reason why people sink in their shoes is a couple different reasons. So the shoe could either be too wide, like right here, or it could be too wide, too broad right on the platform, so you're like sliding down. Basically, there's too much space inside your shoe, or it could be too deep. So this is a pretty deep shoe. It has a lot of room right there, so there's more space for Ashley to kind of slide up and down. And if you look at Ashley's feet from the side, it actually is pretty thin. She's pretty narrow right here. She doesn't have a lot of fat on her feet. So if you wear a shoe that's too deep like this, she's gonna slide up and down, which is what's happening in this shoe. So what we're going to do is we're gonna do a slightly more tapered shoe and a flatter shoe, so she's not sliding up and down in the shoe. Okay, so we're kind of bottlenecking her foot from sliding all the way down so that she doesn't sink and she gets a bruised toenail. So let's try these shoes. And as you can see, if you look at it from the side, you can see this shoe is much deeper than this one. This one's a flatter shoe. So if you want to tell your fitter, it's called a profile or a crown. So if you have a high crown, then that means you have a deeper shoe. If you have a low crown or a low profile, that means that you have a flatter shoe. So you want to keep that in mind. That's one of the main things that you want to consider if you're sinking inside your shoes, the profile. Okay, so we're going to do a slightly more tapered shoe with a lower crown, and it's sliding it a little bit tighter when she puts it on her foot because it's filling out the shoe a little bit more. And some people actually need that depth in their shoe because you have a higher profile foot, but in Ashley's case, because she is so tapered and so shallow in her foot, she doesn't have a lot of fat, so she needs to stay in like a lower profile, more tapered shoe so that her foot's not sliding all the way around. And she's wearing these really cute toe pads I'm gonna show you after. I love these. She's been wearing these for a couple of years now, since Princess Grace, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so she's been wearing these new toe pads. It's awesome because it's not like gel and like thick. I'll show you in a bit. Okay, stand up for me. Very good, first position. So you can see from the side that it's pretty low onto the floor, so it's holding her foot in a little bit better. Bring your right foot up on Pointe, and then step up onto both. So it's kind of hard to tell on video what she's doing, but she's sliding down much less because the shoe is holding her up. And because Ashley is shallow and she doesn't wear really thick padding, she only wears like a very thin layer, she's really relying on the shoe to be able to pull her up, because if it's too deep or if there's too much space, then she's going to slide to the floor. If you have problems sinking in your shoe, I would recommend going to a lower profile or changing your toe pad or going to a more tapered shoe so that you're not sinking onto the floor. Roll down for me. Okay, and parallel. Releve. So yes, even from this angle, I can see that it's much flatter so that you can tell that she's not sliding down into her shoes, and she's able to dance beautifully without having her toenails ripped off. There's a lot of problems with sinking. It's not very comfortable, and a lot of times sinking can happen when you're getting tired towards the end of the class because you start to relax the muscles in your foot and you're not able to pull yourself out. So that's another thing that you want to consider as well. If you're sinking a lot inside your shoes, try strengthening your feet a little bit more so all of the muscles in your foot are able to pull you up out of your shoes. Okay, roll down for me. Okay, go ahead and have a seat. And then lastly, I'm going to show you what kind of toe pad she wears. Generally speaking, you've already heard me say this before, I like thinner toe pads because it keeps a shoe to your foot so that you're not sliding around that much. So these are pretty thin padding. It's almost like just wearing like half of a sock, right? So it's pretty thin. Ashley's not relying on the toe pad to pull her up. She's only relying on her feet and her muscles to pull herself up. So these are pretty great, pretty thin. It's just a crocheted toe pad.
Yeah.
I think these are handmade, right?
These are handmade, yeah.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool. Like it's like some people will use a sock, some people will really break in that lamb's wools to use that, and then some people will just wear paper towels. But whatever you use, try using more of your foot muscle than your toe pad to rely on sliding or keeping yourself up onto Pointe. And if you have any problems inside your Pointe shoes or any other Pointe shoe problems, leave your problems in the comments, and then I'll try my best to answer that for you. Thank you so much, Ashley.
Thank you.